Right now, viewers, we are so privileged and glad to have here with us a guest from abroad, and she's Mrs. Akiko MacDonald. She happens to be the chairperson of the Burma Campaign Society, and we would like to get to know more about this as well as yourself, madam. Thank you so much for coming to our studio. Please tell us more about yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very privileged to talk to your people in Nagaland, but also Manipuri, and if possible, Burmese people as well. Right. I am Japanese origin, and my father was Burma Imphal Kohima campaign veteran.
Wow.
He's still alive. His age is 94. Unfortunately, his memory is really fading away, so it's very difficult to bring about his complete history of what he experienced in here in Kohima. Yes, he is certainly a Kohima veteran. He fought for India and India's independence. So in other words, the Japanese army were up against the British Empire.
Yes.
Now my role is I'm married to British and moved to UK. And initially it was a smooth life. Nothing was much changed, anything like that. Then one day, that was 1998, when the Japanese emperor and empress were invited by the British Queen Elizabeth as official visit. And then the official visit, it triggered the anti-Japanese animosity in the UK.
Oh.
And it is conducted by British Burma veterans. It's not the Imphal Kohima veterans, but the British Burma veterans. And that it means is that the going back to the history of the war, how it started in terms of British wise, the British had an empire in Hong Kong and Singapore. So the Japan attacked Singapore and Hong Kong simultaneously, and it quickly captured Singapore. And that means that the Japan side had to take so many outnumber of prisoners of war, which sum up to, let's say, 80,000 of the British POW.
Yes. Okay.
And then local people put together, it's nearly 120,000 of the prisoners of war. Japan, in other words, it's only 35 soldiers who fought against nearly over 120,000 people.
I see.
No, the very difficult ones is how to treat them in POW. It's very difficult because it's outnumbered. And at that time, the Japan had sort of militarism, which is very, very harsh discipline, which involves violence. The violence, in a way, is bashing the face, which maybe Western side is very unthinkable. And in Japan, because there was a traditional way of hitting face with the sun. So that really gives them a very bad impact on the Western views. And that's what happened exactly. It was not just aiming at the British as POW. Japanese army themselves, they do that to discipline themselves, to have the military, code, which has kind of starting from the right beginning, had misunderstanding each other.
Yes. Every culture has its own perspective and different cultural thoughts.
And then also to do with the language barrier, culture barrier, no language barrier. They can't really express what to do and how to command things. So eventually they do with the shouting at them in Japanese, and then if they don't understand or ask stupid questions or so on, they don't obey, then this comes in.
Right.
So this is right from the start that the British side had a preconceived idea of what the Japanese are, i.e. brutal people, savage people, animalistic, whatever they call. That was an incident happened. The Japanese army, imperial army, so to say, they took the British hard labours to go under construction of railway between Thailand and Burma, which is called Death Railway. It's very infamous instead. The purpose was logistic-wise. The Japanese army has to go through the Malaysian Peninsula to get through Thailand, to get to the Burma, to take over the Burma, to drive the British soldiers or British armies away.
Right,
That was right.
right.
So they utilized those manpowers or every means. So that incident where they have captured this POW for until the end of the war, they had such harsh conditions for the British side of it. No food, no medicines, no clothes to wear proper. Every bit of thing aspect in also tropical weather. They've never been in their life or in their history been treated like slaves, which is done by Asians and which is done by Japanese. So that animosity brewed and they never healed. So then when the emperor and that was actually current emperor and empress, not the Showa emperor.
Okay.
So just the
The
young
current,
ones.
yeah.
That's not their responsibility. But they demand the apology officially from emperor and empress, and also compensations. And that's what happened when I was there in 1998. So the whole nation became turned around Japanese. Well, Japanese are friendly. Japanese are advanced country. Japanese had the industry very advanced. Whatever, they started to take him back. Said, "Oh, what are they exactly? They're brutal people." That was now implanted it because of this incident. So
Exactly.
I started to think about it. Oh, is that true? Because my father fought. So my father are guilty like hell. So I started asking my father, "Did you do anything with the British soldiers?" And then simple answer is, I never met British soldiers. I never faced in front of them. Because the war is not like that. It was like that. His experience was nothing to do with POW. His experience was to do with the Impel campaign, the Burma campaign. He came after all that thing happened because the railways was penetrated. So he came from Malaysian Peninsula to get to Burma because of the railway went Mandalay and passed, then eventually arrived in Kohima. That is my father's story.
He himself came to Kohima, right?
He came here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So was he specifically in which branch of the Japanese Imperial Army?
Right. He was the lieutenant, veterinarian, lieutenant of Mountain Artillery, 2nd Battalion
Wow.
of 31st Regiment of 31st Division.
Wow, okay.
So, which under the command of General Kotok Sato.
Yes, the very famous general, yes.
Oh, you
He
know
stayed-
here. Very
We
good.
heard his name, yes. He
Yes.
stayed here in Jakama,
Yes.
near Kohima.
Now,
yes.
that was the Impel campaign, and then the very important position here, Kohima. Need to take over Kohima, aiming to get to Dimapur,
Yes.
and they together with INA, which is
Yes.
the Subhash
Indian National
Netaji
Army.
Subhash Chandra Bose.
Yes.
So the idea was, it's not like all other Japanese wishes, but also the Indians' wishes for the independence of India. So for the sake of the Indians to be liberated from long-term reign by British Raj.
Our people are very much aware of they call it the Japan battle, actually, the Battle of Japan here in Kohima. And so our parents and, my mother's village, they also have stories, a lot of stories, what happened and all that. But it's very interesting, and we would like to know whether the Japanese are also aware that such a monumental big battle was fought in this area, right, in 1944 in Kohima and Imphal. So many of them are aware that is.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
no.
Oh, is it?
The answer is no, because as far as the general public of the Second World War is focusing on the Pacific War.
Yes.
They feel the enemies were Americans rather than British. There's of course the intellectual people who studies history.
Yes.
They are aware of Burma War.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Singapore, Burma, and of course they're not the stupid. They don't know that.
Okay.
But the Impel campaign was really brushed under because there was the defeat that they faced.
Yes.
So it wasn't that focusing so much,
So
except
that
the
means,
people who
no
know.
Japanese books or any Japanese author written about Imphal
There
or
are
Kohima?
quite a few,
Many?
because they survived people. They wrote about the Impel campaign.
Okay. But not about Kohima?
Yes, there are. But it's as a whole of the Impel campaign.
Yes.
And then ferocious battle, and it was a turning point of the war itself. So
Exactly.
it's important. They know that. So the people who understand the Impel campaign, they understand Korean battle
I see.
as a whole.
That's right.
But the general public, they are focusing on Pacific War up against America because America invaded Okinawa. Yes, and then the America, the ones bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they are the people, well, actually, military one, B-29K raided Tokyo skies. So their perception is more close to the Pacific War, close to the up against the United States.
Okay.
So there's
So-
different things.
All right. And also the Japanese school children, the kids, do they study about this, or is it,
No, they're not. They're
Okay,
not. No.
initially.
The thing is, the way
Yes.
we grew up
Yes.
is that we had a so-called war complex. They were taboo to talk about war because that they are condemned that the Japan was guilty. So they are implanted the idea of so-called guilty war guilt program done by Americans.
We heard about
Americans
it.
educated.
I think
That's
so.
the way it happened. The Constitution was also came from the United States. The layout, the outline of the Constitution. Then they felt guilty, so that's the way it happened. So it's very difficult to change constitutions.
Yes.
So they have very much of the majority of people, any kind of war is against. But besides, they don't want to study what exactly happened was the Second World War. So this is a tragedy.
There was positive and negative, perhaps democracy or whatever other things was also brought. But okay. I mean, that's fine from your perspective. And we also wanted to know, because now that means they don't know about the Northeast people, right? I
No.
mean, very less knowledge about Nagas or Métis
No,
or people
no.
of Imphal. Yeah.
No.
So, like, is there a way we could raise awareness, or like, specifically from media people like us? We also have done a lot of programs since 2000, and we have a lot of our Northeast India programs broadcast. And for example, would the Japanese be able to learn something out of the media programs, or would there be a possibility for linkages so that our Nagas also, we get to know perhaps the positive Japanese technology and positive venture business which they are doing,
That's
which
right.
will be relevant for Northeast India.
Yeah.
Like that we could reach out to viewers. So would there be ways and means whereby we can
Yes,
focus?
certainly. Yes, it's very positive, and I have many ideas. The first step is, yes, certainly me to come here to engage with Naga people. Naga people, and start with the war experienced people, how they experience with the Second World War. Either they sided with the Japan side or British side. Doesn't matter. I want to get the feel of what they did. They felt, and then what the other Naga people, how they stand, and the identity of Naga people too. So my task is to engage with Naga people, and then to know and see everything that I see and feel, is take it back and I start rethinking about what can Japan do to contribute to Naga people, Nagaland. It's the same token I applied to the Manipur people. I did the same thing. And this is the very much of the first step. The only thing, the difference is, I engaged with the Manipuri or Imphal people long time ago, going back to 2011. I started communicating with the Facebook and email, exchanging information, exchanging history, exchanging photograph, or also propagated with the Burma Campaign Society's website, so they know everything inside. So those small groups to start with, they started before the 2011. They became interested in what happened. They did not know. The awareness was not there. But the intellectuals groups started to think about, hang on a minute, the Second World War took place in here. Never knew. But we accidentally discover lots of Japanese or British artifacts of the war. So they teamed up a so-called excavation club. So every weekend they go out and then search for everywhere with their certain metal detectors, finding out sometimes bones as well. But then they started more delved is the history, what exactly happened. So with that, with the parallel, we communicate each other, help each other. That was the foundation. That was the starting.
Right. So
but here nothing happened.
that's right. Only very recently you're starting. And so what has been your impression about coming here and meeting up with people here in Nagaland? And so, what has been your feedback you received about Japanese involvement?
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
first that I went to many villages as possible, thanks to Charles says that he helped me. But I communicated with him in UK. I met him a couple of times already in UK. So started to communicate in emails. Oh, I explained to him what I wanted to do. Yes, certainly visiting many, because this is a very complex mountainous area, and then topography is so complex as compared to Imphal.
Yes.
So it takes so much time, but as much as possible to visit villages which the Japanese army came, but which the British armies came. So I would like to have a balanced view. How they view from the British side, but the Naga people, both the Naga people, how they view the Naga people, how they cooperate with the Japanese. So I can balance views. This is the most important one. Second phase is to engage with the government, which is your side is
Which you are
chief
doing right
minister.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
meaning is that more holistic view that what the Naga people can voice their opinions, because they are maybe internally they talk about it, but then they have an opportunity to talk out to the people or outside the world internationally. They are
Yes.
not engaged with international. So I might be able to help this.
Okay. Is there any possibility of media exchange also? Like even footages, programs of people's, focusing, featuring positive Japanese ventures or even about our people, so that Japanese people will also get to know more about the people of Northeast India,
Yes,
media
that
exchanges.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is to do with the. I have to start a grassroots, how to say, acting, and then together with the young people or people like yourself, who understand the history, to communicate that, to make a foundation platform. Then the medias from the world or Japanese media would be interested in. Impulse already taken in interest very deeply.
Yes.
Already newspaper and then also live news being televised in Japan because we worked so hard for many years.
I see.
But this one is just a starting point.
Right.
So we need to do something to plan some project, and then bring in international, like forum or anything like that. Then we need to cooperate together. Then it will happen. The media is coming. It
Yes,
doesn't happen
yes.
all of a sudden.
In FAO, for example, what has been your positive, feedback or positive things you've got from INFAO?
Oh yes,
Yes.
it is many areas. They were so delighted to welcome me, and then they quickly did realize that who I am, because then I am reconciliations between Japan and UK, and that's been accomplished. The next step is involving where the battles took place, i.e. Impal and Kohima. But Kohima was kind of late joining this, how do you say, narrative, so to say.
I see.
But in Impal, I've been doing it a long time, so that was quite easy. They took it in immediately. They are trying to form the Burma Campaign Society's branch to contact more strong pipe, conduit, to expand from there. So I'm hoping from the Kohima the same way, cooperate from the Impal people and Naga and Kohima people together. They share the same histories. It happened.
That's right.
They just exchange informations. They discuss each other what you can do from here. But the two states has to be included, not single,
Okay,
because
okay,
otherwise,
right.
world will not be interested.
Yeah, that's right. In Northeast India is actually now very well known as a group also. The Seven Sister States as well as Nagaland also, though it's not developed, but still then the world knows about it through various ways and means. But again, negative news also goes out, but we don't want negative news going out of us. We want positive news. And as you know, madam, you may have met some Naga young people also. They are actually very smart and very outspoken, and they learn very, very soon, very fast learners.
I think so
And
too.
even the IT department of Nagaland, the information technology and communications department, they are very ambitious in the sense that they are wanting to make Nagaland the next IT hub, information technology hub of Southeast Asia. So I'm hoping you'll meet them tomorrow or day after. But they are doing
That's
Talk-
wonderful.
call center and BPO, which is
Yeah.
employing around 400 young people, the
Wow.
first, the largest in Northeast India.
Yes, yes.
And so, we would very much look forward to any projects for young people where they can learn positive things and the technology, especially because Japan is so advanced.
Yes. I gave a speech at the Nagaland University. So I had an interaction with the young students,
yes.
and then one of them, actually a young girl, is really studying about Kohima Battle.
Mhm.
So her question was very simple. She wants to communicate with the Japanese who study the same subject.
Okay,
So my
okay.
task or my homework
Yes.
is when I go back to UK, I quickly communicate with the Japanese university in
Yes,
Japan to
yes.
communicate Nagaland University
that'll
and
be-
Japanese Nagaland.
that'll
I make
be-
a platform for that.
That'll be so great. We look forward to media platform also, God willing.
That'll be great. Yeah, I'll do that. My
Yes.
best. Yes.
And I don't know whether Mr. Charles has told you, but we also did a processing a documentary on the Second World War also.
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
perspective of the Nagas also.
Yes.
Yeah, so that includes both about the British as well as about the Japanese
Okay.
also. But so far the feedback has been positive, even
Okay.
about the Japanese.
Can I
Yes.
just say one more point? Why
Yes.
I'm here is because I was born, and it is because of the General Koto Sato made the decisions to withdraw. If he did not do it, meaning most definitely 99% that all perished here in Kohima. Because my father determined to do suicidal attack in Kohima village, meaning completely gone.
Wow.
So that decisions that General Sato made, that's why my father went back to Japan. That's why I was born. So that I had certain fate or some sort of destinies that I feel. So I like the focusing on the General Sato's as well.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
We wish you all the best for that.
Thank
as
you
well
very
as-
much.
Thank you
very
so
much for your time.
coming to
Thank you
India.
very much. Thank you.